Well, that is win number 1 officially for South Sydney as they step into this premiership season with 2 points. The second chapter under Wayne Bennett had all of the no-frills hallmarks that we have come to expect from the Supercoach. Michael Ennis, Kevin Walters and James Graham, the Rabbitohs, they showed that resilience, they showed that tenacity that sometimes had been lacking. We thought, where has all that gone, that underbelly gone from South Sydney? Well, it is back in 2025, Kev.
Yeah, it was on great show tonight, particularly their second half, the first 20 minutes wasn't great. They come up with some errors and ill discipline, couldn't get out of their half, and then they just found a way in the end just to get on top of the Dolphins, and they picked up a try. Yeah, it was a tough, gritty win there for South, and Wayne will take that, particularly against his old team. He'd be very happy now, right now.
Sometimes in games you just got to hold on. And in round 1, when it is the most testing time for the team, you know, your match fitness, you're still sort of finding your feet there with your conditioning, your movement patterns. And the Dolphins were coming. South Sydney struggling to gain metres, struggling to get out their half, losing that territorial battle, but they just hung on in there and waited for that opportunity that was presented to them through some silly mistakes from the Dolphins. And they took it. It's a credit to South Sydney for holding on in there. They had the almost perfect first half, a little bit scrappy second half, but their ability to hang in and stay in the contest was first class.
Great win. Like great win. You think no Trell Mitchell, no Cam Murray, who both of them so influential to this South Sydney side. No Damien Cookie, who's been a household name in that South Sydney side through the middle of the field for so long. Young Mamazula stepping into a key position tonight. Jamie Humphries coming in, playing his second game of NRL. Cody Walker, he's had disruptions over the pre-season. So too Jye Gray. They lose Tyrone Munro at half-time with the collarbone injury. Campbell Graham comes back after 550 days of not being able to play rugby league and dishes up 22 carries for 180 metres. Character-building win for South Sydney. Just the way that Wayne Bennett would have liked to have seen his side, particularly, as Kev said, the fact that their opening 20 minutes, they got it handed to them in the second half. They went after them physically. Christian Wolf's side, they could not move. They were suffocated, and back-to-back tries to Asako and to Max Plath got them in front. And boy, they showed some ticker. Wasn't that a turning point, boys? That error off the scrum on play 1 from the Dolphins when they were in front. Didn't that turn out to be a costly moment?
A great captain's challenge as well. Felice Kafusi batting the ball back, originally pinged for a swinging arm to the side, or however the referee or match official described it. Great challenge, and then play 1 off the scrum to come up with a costly error. Just gave the momentum back to South, so you could almost see them breathe a huge sigh of relief, not having to defend, turn defence into attack, and then up the other end and took that opportunity. The left edge, I thought the battle between Jack Whiten and Herbie Farnworth, it was great. Jack Whiten was a clear winner. A clear winner. There was a couple of times there that the test was put to Herbie Farnworth, which often does with centres, to make the right call, make the decision, and twice he turned in and left a 2-on-1. And I think Jack Whiten got the chocolates in that fight.
Jack was all over him all night, wasn't he? Off the line.
He was up for the fight, wasn't he?
Hubner as well. Some of his defence in that second half. Turning the game, turning over possession. Yeah, that's some big plays there for him.
Kev, you've obviously spent a lot of time through your career with Wayne Bennett. Like, Hubner, to me, like, you look at that South Sydney side and you go, well, no Cam Murray, who's the ball player? And you think Tallis Duncan's that next in line. But then all of a sudden it's this fight, this scrap, this no-nonsense energy that Hubner brought to that side tonight was just what they needed. Yeah,
he was a CQ boy, a Rocky boy, so they bred him tough up there, Mick. And there's no frills about him, but he loves the effort areas of the game. And Wayne has taken him to South. He was at Redcliffe with him, taking him to South. And tonight I thought he really showed his colours, particularly in defence. He's good, but he does his carries and the like with the ball, but it's in defence where he really makes his mark. And
how many errors did he force?
Like hits like a freight train.
I think there are 2 or 3 moments there where he's given his team the ball just through great technique underneath the ball in the slippery conditions, a bit of dew on the ball perhaps, and just when you get hit underneath the ball, he dislodged it a couple of times, got the ball back for his team.
It was a great story. Like, during the week, obviously they were supposed to be playing in Redcliffe. South Sydney made those adjustments, got his parents down for the jersey presentation yesterday out at Redfern, and then he delivers a performance like that was wholehearted. And I thought when the game was on the line, when they needed someone to provide some energy, when they were physically under pressure, couldn't move, he came out of the line a couple of times to make a difference and came up with some forced errors that essentially turned the game in their favour and started to bring some belief back into that South Sydney forward pack that was getting dominated.
They were gone, Mick. They were gone.
Mate, they were shot, weren't they, Kev?
Yeah, no yardage, metres, no carries, and then they just found a way to win, which it's great this time of the year.
I can't imagine what that feeling would be like for a young man like, I don't know who, you know, the coach says, right, I'm going to Sydney and you're coming with me.
Yeah.
Like, that's a massive endorsement, especially at this stage of his career, to say, righto, coach, I'll follow you in wherever we're going.
Well, it is, because he's had a lot of years playing in Queensland Cup. And, he played a few games last year, I'm going to say a dozen or so, with the Dolphins, but that's been his best performance in first grade tonight. So good on him.
Wasn't the fullback impressive? Like, I know, like, Trell Mitchell's such a presence for South, but yeah, when we look at where the game's at, the modern game at the moment, with the demands of the fullback and that smaller type fullback that we're seeing, Keano Kinney, Suafa'alongo, Tane Tuapiki,
Levi Hopoate.
Yeah, I thought Jye Gray tonight, both courageous with the footy and the work that he got through was enormous, but his defensive work on the try line at times, getting off the line, putting his body in front. Defensively, I thought he was as brave as we've seen. He was outstanding tonight, the fullback. I thought he was terrific.
That regather on the chip and chase is the bravest moment any fullback can have to face. Yes, you have the high balls where it's coming through, but when it almost bounces and you've got to make that decision, do I go here? Because you know the potential consequences when the opposition are coming at you. It's a really brave call, and you almost sacrifice yourself with the potential outcomes of it. But Jye Gray, not only that, he was absolutely everywhere tonight.
He never hesitates, though. In those moments, he never takes a beat to think, well, how's this going to work out for me? He was our KFC FLG MVP, which is going to be a mouthful right throughout the season, so stick with us for that.
Well,
essentially, he was the most eye-catching out there.
Yeah, he was, and a real everywhere, all over the field, catching a couple of nice high catches late in the game to keep the Bunnies possession. So he's got the energy there in all game, and players feed off that. When you see a little man like that putting his body on the line, you know, he nearly got through here. Great defence there from the Dolphins to stop him, but he's always attacking, which is great to see.
Yeah, he likes to take those play 4 into 5s like all good fullbacks do as well. Put the team on the front foot in order to get that good kick away. So he chipped in all departments tonight, Jye Gray. He was enormous for the Bunnies.
We know Trell wants to be back in time for the traditional Rabbitohs-Roosters rivalry, and Trell will do everything in his almighty power to be there. But if you're looking, it's so bizarre how different they are as fullbacks. If you're looking for the inverse of Latrell, it's Jye. Size, stature, energy, input, just completely different, but also contributing.
Yeah, it is, and I think that's why you tip your hat to the coaching staff of South Sydney, because you've got to coach to your strengths, and you know Jye brings completely different strengths to what Latrell brings. You know, Latrell's big and he's powerful and he's great out the back of those sweeping shapes where he can land those long passes, and he just presents this fear factor to the opposition. Whereas you know Jye, you blink and you miss him. He's busy, he's around the ruck, as James said. He'll roll up his sleeves, he'll take those tough carries coming out of his end when you're thinking, boy, the forwards need to get in and help out here, but he's just so desperate to help the team that he's in there buzzing around. Then there's an offload, he's pushing on that, and then he's on the far side of the field. And then next thing, he's in the defensive line. He was just everywhere, and he provides that spark and energy to a footy side that can quite easily fall a little sorry for themselves when they've lost some key players and think, oh, well, it's hard luck. We're missing Latrell. We're missing, Cameron. We've got excuses, but he provides no excuses because he just turns up and gives everything for the jersey, and that inspires. It does.
You know, when you're a tired middle forward and you're sort of looking for answers, you're looking for, Humphries tries to kick the ball out, grub it into touch. You're looking to get a rest. That's a little bit of old school. But when you see Jye Gray there, like coming up with those inspiring, energetic runs, that lifts you, because you know you can focus on your defence. You can't compromise your defence in the middle, but you can look for others in the backfield to help out with those yardage carries, and that's exactly what Jye Gray did tonight for his forwards.